Hello and welcome to Poetry. We've got a lovely mixed selection this week, and thanks to Gillian and John and Adele for sending work in. And I'm going to start with Gillian's piece because it was in response to something I said last week. I read a piece of Gillian's about going to work with her dad in the summer when she was a kid, and in that she mentioned a character called the Lavender Lady. And I was wondering who the Lavender Lady was. Well, she's answered the question. The Lavender Lady did exist. As I look back through memory's mist, adorned in lilac and purple, her beautiful attire was greatly admired. By her house you could always hear the whirring of the sewing machine, immaculate, black, well-oiled and clean. The aroma of lavender in her sitting room, beautiful gifts to buy, I'll be there soon. Fresh, plump, scented lavender bags with violet cupcakes nicely tagged. Dolly dresses with ribbons and bows smartly sitting nicely in rows. Loo roll holders and cozies for pots. If you needed a sweet gift, she had lots. Then one day, Dad said he had a new job. With bags packed, I had a good sob. Our family set off for Liverpool, and I started seniors in another school. Soon the Lavender Lady's goods I missed. To be back in Bootle is what I wished. But I never saw her street again, my aching wish was all in vain. And I have to say with some dismay, just living life got in the way. What a lovely piece. And I really like the fact that this lady made violet cupcakes as well. Everything tied in colour wise. So thanks ever so much, Gillian, for sending that in and answering the question about who was the Lavender Lady. So I'm going to move on now to Adele's piece, and she's sent in quite an epic piece about the lockdown, and it's all written in rhyming couplets, pairs of lines that rhyme. So settle back, and this is called Lockdown. We were forced to isolate back in March 2020. We had news updates and advice aplenty. Government warned of a virus so contagious, how going into lockdown would be more advantageous. COVID-19 was spreading throughout the world. It became fatal to some as the nightmare unfurled. Our social lives ground abruptly to a halt due to an elusive virus that was not our fault. No longer could we paint the town red. During lockdown we painted our houses instead. We all had to adapt to the new normal. Our lives suddenly became isolated and informal. Safe from contracting the virus by staying put meant our social activity was instantly cut. As staying in became the new way of life, lunch became breakfast and PJs became rife. People panicked and stockpiled to ensure they had plenty. Some shopped till they dropped, shelves soon became empty. Toilet rolls were in great demand, not just locally but across the land. Supermarket home deliveries were hard to procure, avoiding the shops made us feel more secure. Urged to sing happy birthday to our hands many times a day, we were told how the virus could be wiped out this way. Many workers had furloughed wages. Parents worked at home and morphed into sages. Some developed tech neck from overusing their gadgets. That's what you developed when glued to phones and tablets. Some became obsessive cleaners because they were stressed. Some found skills they never knew they possessed. Some indulged in their hobbies to pass away the time. Some were couch potatoes, and some even turned to wine. I knew I should have practiced turning the page. While some became amateur mixologists, others needed support from psychologists. We were so grateful to the health workers putting their lives on the line, caring for the elderly, sick and vulnerable time after time. Avoid going out, we were regularly told. Social distance from family and friends, especially those who were old. For some of us, absence made the heart grow stronger. Lockdown also made our hair grow longer. Popping to the hairdresser or barber shop became a thing of the past that we just had to stop. We were grateful for gardens. Having outside space was key. We enjoyed a spring heat wave which topped up our vitamin D. We were told to exercise, keep a 2-metre distance from each other. Initially, we were not allowed to meet up with another. We primed our immune systems with healthy vitamins galore. We were advised to wear a face mask, but what for? PPE was in short supply, but we never really got to know why. We developed lockdown syndrome as routines were changed dramatically. It soon became apparent our world had changed emphatically. Our circadian rhythms were out of kilter, all a mess. Sometimes we got more sleep, often we got less. Sometimes we emerged from bed around noon, although at other times we woke up far too soon. We often lost track of the day of the week. We had to take nana naps to catch up on our sleep, stay alert. So that's what Boris meant when he caused us all to vent. Concern about money and work made us all fret. Did we have job security? What about national debt? News about corona made anxiety spiral. Anecdotes, jokes and memes all went viral. We were banned from visiting loved ones. Lots of worry and confusion. We were left wondering when lockdown would come to a conclusion. We had to disinfect surfaces to avoid infection. It was paramount government direction. We wore homemade face masks to avoid transmission. Preventing the spread of COVID became our mission. We paid tribute to the carers who were key by applauding their brave efforts with the COVID emergency. We learned the meaning of patience as a virtue, but found it hard to introduce a sleep curfew. Binged on Netflix like never before, watched our favourite series till our square eyes became sore. Building Alaska was my husband's lockdown obsession. If we watched it any more, it would trigger my depression. My own guilty pleasure was watching wildlife and history. I also took to dabbling in a bit of poetry. We embraced the non-iron look. It became the norm. Grey hairs emerged upon our heads like a sky before a storm. We used Zoom to meet up with Mersey and the choir. Our weekly singing sessions were always on fire. We sanitised and sterilised, disinfected shopping and parcels too, cleaned and cleansed till services shone like they were new. Many DIY'd till there was nothing left to do. Our houses were deep cleaned, gardens got makeovers too. WhatsApp group chats helped us keep in touch and raised our spirits. We took part in guessing games and quizzes. We shared jokes, memes, recipes and more whilst we waited, hoping for a cure. We had the opportunity to spend more time with our pets. Distressingly, we could not take them to the vets. The nation got creative, having leisure time to indulge. Some also got active to prevent the bulge. Captain Tom completed a charity walk that inspired the whole nation. The 99-year-old veteran was an inspiration. The PSS blog helped us through. We played music, wrote poetry and engaged in photography too. Thanks to lockdown, we really learned a lot. We learned to live without the things we hadn't got. We realised we appreciated our family and friends most. With shop shuts, we were glad to have the internet and post. We appreciated nature, listened to bird song and watched butterflies and bees. We relaxed and smelt the roses and sat among the trees. We were grateful for good health and well-being, and for the sun, the moon and the stars in the sky, for all the wonderful things that money cannot buy. Amazing! That's a brilliant piece, Adele. Thank you so much, and what a great description. I can recognise so much of that in what's been happening for me, and I imagine others of you out there can too. Well done for putting all of that down. Now we move on to this week's piece from John, and it's led to this week's the coming week's theme, and his poem is called The Kiss, and I'm gonna try and do my John accent again. This is John H. Okay, so the big ship goes down the alley-alley-o, the alley-alley-o, the alley-alley-o. That's when I first saw Jane singing and skipping with my cousin Mo. I was 7, Jane was 8, she was my cousin's mate. She couldn't be mine, she was a girl, Jane Pate. Boys don't play with girls. They wear dresses and scream a lot. They play with dolls and are scared of worms. They can't climb lampposts, definitely not. Only sometimes boys play with girls. When we played Truth or Dare, Jane got dared to give me a kiss. It was almost too much for me to bear. Jane kissed me on the lips. I wiped my mouth and cried, yuck. That was the end of Jane and me. She started looking at me like a piece of muck. When Jane was 15 and I was 14, all the boys used to go, wow. She had many admirers, me included. Oh, to kiss Jane now. Fab, peace, John. Forgive the accent, but I just can't help it when I read your work. I kind of hear your voice. So the theme for this coming week is love. How can we do poetry sessions without never touching on it? There's so much love poetry being written and being written. So I thought I'd add my own piece for the coming week, and this is called The Tale of Mavis Pruitt. It's a poem for the lovelorn. Here comes the tale of Mavis Pruitt, one hell of a beauty, but she never knew it. She lived a good life with only one aim, bring respite to those in romantic pain. She couldn't remember how she'd had the notion to create an effective, foolproof love potion, but she told folk around that in the dead of the night she'd stumbled on a cure for the lovelorn life. Aware she practised white witchery and knew all the herbs in the dictionary, when she made a concoction they were quick to believe their loneliness would soon find relief. 3 drops on the tongue or as an embrocation while repeating a tried and trusty invocation to revive the spirits, discover romance and change their lifelong circumstance. Before a month went by, those jilted or rejected no longer found themselves painfully affected. For love they found, or did it find them? They didn't care which, they were happy, amen. When Mavis reflected on her potion's success, relieved no one asked her to explain or confess. At a summer love ball in her garden gazebo, she gave thanks for the efficaciousness of placebo. So that's my tale of Mavis Pruitt. And this week's theme, as I say, is love. And whatever that means to you, however you wish to explore that and put it down, or poetry on any theme, we are happy to receive it and read it. The email, as ever, is on the blog, and I'll be back tomorrow with some talk about health and well-being. So I hope to see you then. Bye for now.